welcome to This Won't Last Long, episode 21. This will be a little bit of a more, not fast-paced, but I guess less lengthy episode because I am leaving, because I'm visiting home right now for the weekend, and I'm going back to Toronto, back to uni and residence in like under an hour, so this will be like mini-sode, I'll call it. But anyway, so a lot has happened since, let's see when the last episode was actually. Because I know it was before I moved, obviously. My first cathartic moment, I will talk about the others so far, was during Frosh Week, which you can see a video on a lot that happened that week here. It's called New Nostalgia. I named it that because you know, the way I kind of accept having these two homes, one being here, where I grew up, my hometown, that I will never escape, unfortunately, because that's just the way life works. And of course my second home being Toronto now, and that city, and that university in York. So I named that because it's a new home, but it feels very nostalgic. In all the ways it's familiar, it's also very exciting and new, and in those ways terrifying as well. But it's also very safe and comforting in a nostalgic kind of way, because even though a lot of it is familiar, a lot of it is new in the sense of that I'm gaining new memories with these people, and I'm gaining new nostalgia. And yeah, so back to what I was saying, is that my first cathartic moment was during Frost Week. You can see that video here. And not all of it is captured, but just one second. I think you guys can get the gist better than I could ever word it in this video that I made. Most of the footage is from my phone and a lot of my friends' phones from the orientation week stuff, but a lot of it is captured, and I think the gist of what the point of what I'm getting at here is captured well in that video. So yeah, my first cathartic moment, it was I talked about it a lot before, well, I'll get to university, but before university, I would never sing in front of anyone. I even told, like, my ex this, or like my friends this, or whatever. You know, that's just not me. Like, I'm not that confident and stuff. And I'm getting here at York, and there's all these queer people just like me around, neurodivergent, queer, creative in all the non-traditional ways. You know, I didn't feel like I was isolated. I didn't feel like I was alone in being myself. And growing up, even though it never was that, it always felt lonely. I never felt accepted growing up before university, because even though people accepted me for who I was, no one really was like me. And yeah, that sucked. But yeah, with York, the first time it was at karaoke night, which was probably a few days in. I don't remember the exact day. It was a few days in, I know that. And I sang Running Up That Hill, you know. I was nervous and shit. I mainly looked at the ground and the wall. But I did sing. And there were some moments that people laughed, and those moments sucked. And they were very valid because I was fucking up a few of those moments. And then once people started cheering me on, put their feet in my shoes, because like I said, they're like me. They're all like me in those senses that I was talking about. Because of their cheering me on, I was like, okay, I can fucking do this. And I kept singing, and people cheered, and then I was like, okay, there's definitely a performer in me. It was like this little light inside of me that I didn't know was fucking there. Until I came here, and I was like, and that first day in karaoke, when I sang in front of people, it's like that little light, that little performer in me was like almost fully out there. And then it was probably a couple days later, so this is probably like a week in, because I know the third and final time so far that I've sung in front of people during that week was Junos, which was the night before the last night of Frosh. So it was called Open Mic Night, and since this wasn't just singing like karaoke was, I could say my other things. Like the first thing I signed up for, because you literally just, how it works is you went and signed up, and you ran up to the front of the thing, they had a paper, and you wrote what you wanted to do, blah blah. For writing things, you had to like send it to them and show it, whatever. Obviously all my stuff is fine, so I did the Sunglasses poem. If you don't know it, I don't know if it's in the video, not gonna lie. But anyway, it's basically just me talking about how these, and just sunglasses in general, because since I've been knowing who I was, I've been more feminine. You guys all know that, but it was last year that I wrote this poem about how sunglasses and feminine stuff in general really make me accept who I am. And I think the style of poetry was like an object poem or something, I forget, but pretty sure. But one of the lines was one of the lines that people liked during orientation week at Open Mic Night when I did it. It was mainly at the start of the night too, because it was like a 4-hour thing. But yeah, so one of the lines that people really liked from the poem was it was like, I know the last line was, "Sunglasses, you were a part of me, thank you for helping me." People cheered after and stuff. Oh, it was "Nobody can see who I truly am behind a mask of pretty colors and glam." People were like snapping and cheering with that. Yeah, I think anywhere else, I could be wrong, because I've never performed it before. I've never performed anything before now. But I think if I performed it anywhere else, I don't think people would have cheered. Maybe people would cheer, but people wouldn't have cheered as much, because they wouldn't understand it on a fundamental level as much as these people who are like me do. And then yeah, the Junos was basically it was kind of last minute too by the leaders, but it was a talent show, and And I knew that if I was going to sing again, I had to. By the way, this one isn't the video because one of my friends recorded it. Thankfully, love that guy, Josh. But yeah, so I knew that if I was going to sing again, I knew I had to sing a song that meant a fucking lot to me, and a song that made me kind of accept this transition to adulthood, because I've been listening to this song like it's probably one of my favorite songs, if not my favorite song. I know it's my favorite band, probably one of them, but Current Joys. I knew I had to sing a song by them, and I was looking through, and I knew that Kids by Current Joys was the song that made me have my first cathartic moment of like of grade 12 of like, oh shit, I'm going to university next year. It was either the first song that made me have that realization or one of them. It was one of the first cathartic moments that had me kind of thinking of university and how terrifying that concept is of being an adult. And it was kind of poetic that I would perform this song when I'm already there at university now, and when I'm already kind of starting to accept that I am an adult and that I am here at university and in the big city and pursuing my dreams and my part of changing the world, hopefully. Very small part. Or doing my part, but anyway. And I performed it. And compared to, like, I'm just gonna guess here, like 5 days prior, when I did the karaoke, or when I performed for the first time in front of people, I was much more confident this time. I was more of a performer this time. I was more like eccentric, more charismatic. Instead of like compared to karaoke, when I would have probably been like, I'm just a kid. I was like, I'm just a kid. And I was more like, you know, pumped up and shit. It was more me. And, which is trippy to say, and I keep tripping myself up whenever I say it. I'm more me now that there's a performer in me, a part of me that I didn't know was missing at all. And the fact that being at York brought that side of me that I didn't know was missing, was holding me back from being fully myself, shows just how much of a new home York really is going to be, and already is. Toronto in general too, but yeah. It's pretty amazing, man. I've never felt more accepted for being me in my life. It's different when a friend accepts you for being yourself, or a family member accepts you for being yourself. That's all good and well. But when you're in a community, and it's not just online, or it's not just a club after school for an hour, which I'm not putting GSA down, that was a very big part of my life, it still is. When you're there and living with them, and you're all keeping each other safe and understanding each other and where you're at and who you are, which is the most important part. You all understand who all of you are. That shit is important. And it's been amazing living among those people, living with those people. And pursuing what I was put here to do has been fucking amazing. It's only been like a few weeks classes, so it's not completely anything that I haven't learned before yet, but I think it'll get there, and I can't wait for that. But yeah, and then all the stuff I've made so far is on here on YouTube. The most recent one being like a soundscape thing for an image, and I chose the image of the thumbnail. It was like an Ellie Last of Us 2 image. They did like a Ellie soundscape thing. But yeah, the one shot there, that was fun. My roommate Logan, he's in the thumbnail, and then the first little soundscape one did my short excerpt from my Batman short story. But yeah, it's been amazing here, and can't wait for you guys to see the space when I stream with Logan. Oh, thank you for the follower, Demon Sang 31666. Thank you. Welcome to the community. But yeah, that's kind of the gist of what's been happening with me. Yeah, and then with media, with my ADHD, I've really had a hyperfixation on the Adventure Time fandom because I have a newfound appreciation for it. I even posted a short about it that's gotten like 2,000 views at this point, about how, like, as an adult now, growing up with Adventure Time, I was watching this. It was during episode 7 out of 10 of Fiona and Cake, the sequel series. It was when Gary, aka Prince Bubblegum, and then Marshall Lee, aka the male version of wrestling, there was like a montage of them getting to know each other through dating and stuff. And like also during the series everyone's adults and stuff, so Adventure Time everyone was like a teenager and stuff, and I realized watching that I was starting to cry, and I was wondering why was I crying, and I realized growing up with Adventure Time, it was a show that was made for people who were growing up with it. Specifically, it was for the audience, me, who needed to accept growing up, who was transitioning into being a teenager and then into an adult, who needed to keep their inner child, and who needed to enjoy being a kid. And then with Fiona and Cake, it's an important thing that they've done here, where they've made a new series for the audience that grew up with Adventure Time, who are now adults, me, to the way I rationalize it, the way that Adventure Time was for childhood, Fiona and Cake is for adulthood. And when I realized that, I cried more. Because that same audience, again, me, it's for those same kids who probably have Adventure Time to accept adulthood and accept this new transition into university and adulthood, and not being a kid anymore, but still having that kid in you, and having that wonder and still having that hope for life and yourself, and still having that fun and that imagination, and not letting it go away. I'm not letting the world be wasn't serious. Other than all that important life and sad stuff, it was fucking funny. It was nostalgic as hell. So obviously it's the same characters and all that. Connected so many loose threads. It was pretty amazing. And I hope they continue it, but if they didn't, I'm happy. I'm happy with how they did it. Wish it was longer, of course, but what are you gonna do? I mean, they perfectly wrapped it up with Simon's story and Fiona and Cake's story. But yeah, and then that's pretty much it, man. I mean, yeah, just to end it off, I'll talk about when I realized York was home, was like a new home. So there was this frat party for female students. It's called the York Village. It was like these townhouses, on the outskirts of campus, and I was like, okay, it's like one of my friends already left, and I thought I left in time to catch up to them. I realized very quickly that was not the case. And then following that realization of, well, my friends are already there, there was the follow-up realization of, okay, I'm dressed up femininely, alone, at night, in Toronto, and leaving campus. And I was like, okay, this is not safe, and I turned back. And I started to have a panic attack. And following that panic attack, I got mint chocolate ice cream on something from Insomnia Cookies, and went back. And when I started getting closer to the residence building, the anxiety wore off. And in my head, I said to myself, okay, thankfully I'm home. And then I did like a double take in my head. And to myself, I was like, oh shit, this is home. And it was kind of a cathartic moment. It was the first time I considered York home, and it was pretty amazing. That was the first time that I realized it was familiar yet new, and a great home in that way. But yeah. So on that note, that's gonna wrap up this mini-sode. Next episode will be longer, I promise. I'll probably be in residence at that point, but yeah, after reading. So with that all being said, if you guys enjoyed,